Are you looking to build influence? Or maybe to drive more traffic? But bottom line, you want to change the game. You've come to the right place. Welcome to the Business Building Book Club. We're going to give you the tools you need to succeed, both online and in person. Brought to you by Coach Molly and 3 Pines Leadership. Welcome one and welcome all to the Business Building Book Club. I'm your host, Coach Molly from 3 Pines Leadership, and thank you again for joining me. Either you're joining me on your favorite podcast platform, or maybe you're joining me in video format on the 3 Pines Leadership YouTube channel. You can find us also on Instagram at 3 Pines Leadership and on Twitter at Coach Molly. Let me know what's going on in your life. What books do you want to read? This is the Business Building Book Club, as I mentioned, and we are going through season by season. We're making our way through Russell Brunson's Secrets trilogy, which in my opinion is probably the best set of business books you will ever come across when it comes to taking on the online business space. I am obsessed with these books. Season 1 of the book club was diving into .com secrets, and this is season 2 where we're diving into expert secrets, which is, I always have to read it, the Underground Playbook for converting your online visitors into lifelong customers. It's all about that long-term influence building and relationship building with your customers. It's about finding the right customer who's going to fall in love with you and your message. It's not about trying to market to the masses and wasting your time and money on that. It's about finding the right person and sending them the right message. All right, if you want to follow along, which I highly recommend you do, get your copy at leadershipmade.com/expert-secrets. That's leadershipmade.com/expert-secrets. And there you will find a very easy link to purchase a copy of .com secrets, but you don't have to pay for the book. Yeah, Russell's going to cover the cost of the book. All you have to do is pay for shipping. Yeah, fabulous. So this season, as I mentioned, we're covering expert secrets. Get your copy. And we're going chapter by chapter. And in between me reading out the chapters to you, we're also going to be sitting down with some incredible funnel hackers and lady hackers out there to see how they're utilizing these theories, skills, and strategies in their businesses. So make sure you subscribe so that you're getting notified of all of the episodes that are coming out. All right, so as I mentioned, we are diving into a chapter this week. We are diving into secret number 6, which is the future-based cause. Oh yeah, the other reason you definitely want to pick up your own copy of Expert Secrets is because the book is filled with these little doodles. There we go. These little doodles that, here we go, that Russell has put in the books to help us remember all of these things that he's teaching us, so that you can start implementing them in your business on a more regular basis. They're quick memory triggers, and they really explain what we're talking about here. Because I'm not going to explain or try and show you my stick figure drawings, because I don't have that skill. All right, here we go. Secret number 6, the future-based cause. This is page 121. For generations, people believed it was impossible to run the mile in under 4 minutes. They believed the human body wasn't capable of going that fast and that it would collapse under the pressure. Some doctors and scientists said it wasn't just hard or dangerous, but physically impossible. No one could run a mile in under 4 minutes. Then, on a cold, rainy day, May 6, 1954, 6 men entered a race held on the Iffley Road track in Oxford, England. One of these men was Roger Bannister. As he crossed the finish line that day, he did something that was thought to be impossible. Over the loudspeaker, the announcement came. Ladies and gentlemen, Here is the results of Event 9, the 1 mile. Subject to ratification will be a new world record. The time was 3. The announcement was drowned out by the crowd when they realized it was under 4 minutes. Bannister had finished the race in 3 minutes, 59 seconds, and 3.59.4. He had done what so many people believed was impossible. He broke the 4-minute mile. After the record was broken, it held up for only 46 days before it was broken by John Landy. Once people saw it was possible, it created belief in others that they could do it too. Since that time, more than 1,400 runners have broken the 4-minute mile. For me, there was a similar record shattered on August 17, 2004 that gave me the belief I needed to chase after my dreams. I had started my online business in 2002 while I was wrestling and going to school. My beautiful new bride was supporting her jobless student athlete, and I felt guilty because I wanted to help provide. But NCAA rules kept me from having a real job, so I turned to the internet with a goal of making an extra $1,000 a month. If my little business could do that, then I could feel a little success. For about 2 years, I was learning how this game was played, and had a few small successes, like my potato gun DVD, but nothing huge. At about that time, I heard about an online marketer named John Reese, who was about to launch a new product he created called Traffic Secrets. I heard rumors from friends that his goal was to make $1 million selling that online. I didn't think too much about it at the time, but I was excited to buy a copy of his new course. A few days into the launch, I went on a family trip to Bear Lake in southern Idaho. When I arrived, I realized there was no internet access anywhere on the lake except in a small library that had a very slow dial-up modem. About halfway through our trip, I went into town and waited in line to get online so I could check my emails. When it was my turn, I opened my account and saw an email from John Reese with the subject line, "We did it." I wasn't exactly sure what he was talking about, so I opened the email and read a story that changed my life. He said that earlier that day, August 17th, 2004, his new course had launched, and in just 18 hours, they had sold more than 1,000 copies, creating the first ever $1 million day for someone in my industry. As I read that email, I sat back in my chair and everything around me slowed down to a stop. He hadn't made $1 million total selling his course. He had made $1 million in less than a day. He had broken the 4-minute mile for internet marketers. As I thought more about that, my goal was to make $1,000 a month seem so small. I then realized that to earn $1 million, John Reese had to sell 1,000 copies of a $1,000 course. And suddenly it became so tangible and so real for me, and I realized that is what I wanted to do. I wanted to make $1 million. It completely transformed what I thought was possible, and because of that, I started thinking and acting differently. Within a year of reading that email, I didn't make $1 million, but I got close. The second year, I tried it and I missed it again, but within 3 years, I had made $1 million in a single year. Later, I made $1 million in a month, followed by multiple times when my company made $1 million in a day. It was something I didn't think was possible. It didn't make logical sense. They didn't talk about things like this when I was in school, but because John did it, I knew I could too. In Proverbs 29:18, it says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." Our job as an expert and guide for our audience is to help cast a vision for what is possible and to bring our people to higher ground, to move them from where they are to where they want to be. The last step in creating your movement, after becoming the expert and creating a new opportunity, is creating a future-based cause. For every political, social, or religious movement throughout history, the charismatic leader paints a picture of the future they are trying to create and what life will be like when they get there. In his book, The True Believer, Eric Hoffer writes, Fear of the future causes us to lean against and cling to the present, while faith in the future renders us perspective to change. In circumstances where people fear the future, they typically stop moving forward. For you to have success in this business, you have to give your followers hope of something better so that they will be perceptive to the change you are going to offer. You do that by painting a vision of the future that they want and showing them that it is possible. Most people want to cast their faith and personal responsibilities into something bigger than themselves. It happens in religion, it happens in political movements, it happens in the workplace, and it will be true for your movement. People want to plug into something bigger than themselves, so it's your job to create that vision. Here are a few principles that will help you create your future-based cause. Step number 1, launch your platform to be your dream customer's guide to the result. Deciding that you want to create a movement is only half the job. The other half involves campaigning to your dream customers about why you are the expert or the guide to lead them. I realized as I was starting to build my tribe that there were a lot of noise in the market, a lot of other opportunities, and other experts shouting from the rooftops trying to attract the same people I wanted to serve. I knew that if I wanted to get their attention, I needed to build a platform that I could run on as their expert or guide, just as I would if I were running for political office to try to be a state senator or for president of my country. After having that thought that I was running for president of my tribe or president of the funnel hackers, it made me want to look closer at how successful political campaigns are run. I started a deep study of winning U.S. presidential campaigns and platforms they ran on. I found a fascinating pattern that I believe most people completely overlook. Almost all the winning presidential candidates who were elected, from George Washington to today, won because of their ability to create a vision of the future that people want most. Each of the winners, interestingly enough, also presented a new opportunity, while the losers were offering improvement. Isn't it interesting how the winners cast a compelling vision of the future, whereas the losers focused more on the present? Being a better leader or making America stronger or any of these ers make their entire campaign an improvement offer. As I started to build my tribe within ClickFunnels, I wanted to create something that would unite our members and give them faith and hope in their future with us. If I'm honest, I didn't know I needed this at first, and I actually stumbled upon it one day. But the minute I discovered it, it instantly cast a compelling vision of the future and united our members. We were about to launch our 3rd annual Funnel Hacking Live event, and I was trying to think of a headline for the sales page. I remember reading a story about the late Gary Halbert when I first started my business, where he said, "You are the only one sales letter away from striking it rich." I know that for me, that statement created a vision that got me excited. I didn't know which sales letter or product it would be for me, but I had perfect hope that if I would just keep trying, something would work. It created faith in my mind, and what I was working towards was real. And even though I failed over and over, that thought kept me moving forward through the ups and downs I experienced early in my career. As I remembered what that statement did for me all those years ago, I started with the idea and tried to figure out how to create something similar for my members. After thinking about it for a while, I eventually wrote out the headline that said, "You're one funnel away from being rich." As I looked at it, for some reason I didn't feel it. I know that some people create sales funnels to get rich, but the majority of our members created companies and used sales funnels not just to get rich, but more important, to change the lives of their customers. So I went back to the drawing board. I wrote and rewrote that headline dozens of times. You're one funnel away from quitting your job. You're one funnel away from financial freedom. You're just one funnel away from growing your business to the next level. You're just one funnel away from sharing your message with more people. The more I wrote, the more I realized that no matter what I wrote, it would reach only 1% of my members. So I deleted the end of the sentence, hoping for some inspiration, and after sitting there for 10 or 15 minutes, I looked up and saw something interesting. The headline read, "You're just one funnel away." That was it. Because having a funnel means something different to everyone, but not quantifying it, I left it open for their interpretation. So each person could finish the sentence for themselves. If their compelling future was to quit their job, then that is the future I'm offering them. If their compelling future is to share their message with more people and try to change the world, then that is the future I'm offering that person. At our last Funnel Hacking Live event, I told stories that showed how this vision was true for me. I talked about each major failure I had during my career and how each time I was saved by a funnel. Twice I've been on the brink of bankruptcy, and both times one funnel got me back to the top. Multiple times I've made poor decisions that could have and probably should have ruined me, but a funnel saved me. I shared story after story about how that was true for me, in hopes that it would give them hope of what's possible. I now use that message in all of my communication with my audience. I sign off in my videos by saying, remember, you're just one funnel away. I've added it to the end of every email I send out. It's the theme of our events. It's a consistent and constant call out to our tribe, reminding them of the vision that they have put their faith and hope into. Since the first edition of this book, when I first shared this concept, I watched as my readers have created their own platform to win the votes of the members of their movements. Here are a few I loved that should get a few wheels spinning in your head as you're creating your campaign slogan or mantra. So I'll read one of these for you. There's 3 of them in here. Get the book and read them yourself. So this is from Stacy and Paul Martino of Relationship Development. Their movement is, we have proven that it only takes one partner to transform a relationship, any relationship. Our mission is to empower people to get the unshakable love and unleashed passion that they want in their relationship without doing any couples work. We help you transform your marriage, parenting, family, work, and all relationships. Their slogan or mantra is changing the way relationship is done. And their meaning is, together we are changing the way relationship is done. By doing this work with us, you are breaking the chains of demand relationship in your family's legacy. Your kids won't need us when they're 40 because they watched you live it. You become their example instead of their warning. So here's an exercise for you. To create your platform, I want you to imagine that you're running for president of your movement. Think about what slogan would be great for your campaign. What do your people really want? Where do they want to go? How can you capture that in a simple calling you could put out in a campaign sign? So step number 2 is to give them an identity shift. After someone has joined your movement and taking you up on your new opportunity, the most important thing you can do is to give them an identity shift. Their ability to have success with you is more tied to an identity shift than almost anything else that you can do. You have to remember that your customers are real people, and it's your duty to sell to them over and over again. If you don't, they will go back to their old ways and habits, or worse, chase the next new opportunity that someone else offers them. As my friend Myron Golden always says, it's essential that you take them off the market. If you don't, what are the repercussions of you not selling to them over and over again? Depending on what you sell, it could be loss of health, a loss of money, or a loss of time. Remember what Jay Abraham said. If you truly believe that what you have is useful and valuable to your clients, you have a moral obligation to try to serve them in every way possible. It's easy to sell someone something once, but to get them to buy from you over and over again and be excited while doing it, you have to shift their identity. One of my favorite stories that illustrates how an identity shift will shift behavior is from James P. Friel. I've asked him to retell the story for you here. My Identity Shift by James P. Friel. I had finished work early and was sitting in my office with the sliding door open, mesmerized by the crashing waves of the Atlantic less than 100 feet away. And in what could only be described as a lightning strike of inspiration, I found myself online buying a set of drums after doing less than 5 minutes worth of research. My mind ran away with me fast. I went from thinking it could be cool to play the drums to seeing myself as a rock star in about 40 seconds. I even felt cooler already. Now, while I'm sure there are plenty of people who buy drums, I had exactly 0 logical reasons to think this was a good idea. First, I have absolutely no rhythm. On top of that, the worst grade I ever got was from an ill-fated attempt to play the recorder in 6th grade music class. To this day, I can still hear the shrill shrieking of "Mary had a little lamb." I'm convinced my teacher gave me that D out of pity, not because I earned it. Yet despite the scars of my laughing classmates, here I was looking at my purchase confirmation with a crazy new dream of jamming my heart out behind a drum kit. I already felt like a drummer. How hard could it be to bang on some drums? If Animal from the Muppets could be a drummer, then so could I. I shut my laptop and immediately went into the other room to find my girlfriend Yara, who had no idea she was about to become my first fan. "You'll never guess what just happened," I exclaimed. "No, really, I promise that you'll never guess." She raised her eyebrow with equal parts concern and excitement. "I'm a drummer now," I proudly told her. "What does that even mean?" she asked. "You've never even once mentioned anything about playing the drums." "I know. I'm just as shocked as you," I replied, "but my drums will be here on Thursday." Now I really got her attention. "Wait, you bought drums?" A look of confusion watched over her face. Playing the air drums to make my point, I nodded with a smile. "Amazon Prime for the win." She giggled in disbelief as I left the room. Meanwhile, all I could think about was playing the drum solo from In the Air Tonight. And so for 3 long, tedious days, I could barely think about anything else than rocking out on my expectant drum kit like Animal. I wanted it so bad that when the package finally arrived, I could almost hear the sound of Phil Collins jamming inside the box. As I opened it and saw what looked like 2,000 pieces, I felt my blood pressure rise, realizing for the first time that I had actually had no idea what I had gotten myself into. Admittedly, I had done absolutely no real preparation for this moment. Not one to be deterred. I tore everything open, and after about an hour and a half, the drum kit was fully assembled and ready to go. This was the moment I had been waiting for. I sat down to play. Tap, tap, tap. Something was horribly wrong. There was no sound coming out of my drums. "You've got to be kidding me," I thought. I quickly pulled up Google and discovered that in my haste to order my kit, I didn't order an amp. And not so minor detail that I had completely overlooked. With Google still open, I found a local music shop, ran out of the room, and jumped into my car to go buy one. As I sped to the store, I started to feel myself become noticeably impatient. In the back of my mind, I feared that if the store didn't have what I needed, I might be forced to wait another few days to play. So I shot into the music shop like a heat-seeking missile, going directly to the drum section where I nearly accosted the guy at the counter. Thankfully, he was chill, showed me the right amp, and began to ring me up. For the first time since my moment of inspiration, I had a startling realization. I had absolutely no idea how I was going to play the drums. So I asked my new friend, "Hey, now that I've got everything I need, how do you suggest I learn how to play?" "Actually, we've got an instructor who gives lessons right here," he pointed over my shoulder. At that exact moment, my would-be instructor, Greg, approached. He had wispy, shoulder-length gray hair and wore a black Def Leppard t-shirt. I immediately knew this guy was my guy. "My 1 o'clock lesson just canceled," Greg said as he looked at me. "You can have your first lesson for free right now if you'd like." My eyes widened in disbelief as I realized that luck was on my side. "Yeah, let's do it," I responded. He showed me to his studio, There were two drum kits, one for me and one for him. My heart was racing as he handed me a pair of drumsticks. This was it. I was about to play. Greg demonstrated a basic rock beat for me. Boom, tss, boom, tss. Now you do it, he said, looking at me. As soon as I went to try what he had showed me, I instantly discovered that somewhere between shaking Greg's hand and sitting down at the drums, I had completely lost control of my hands and feet. It was kind of like rubbing your stomach and patting your head at the same time, but only 10 times more confusing. My drumming was painfully slow, less coordinated than a 3-year-old working a zipper on a jacket, and I didn't sound like anything at all. Hardly the jam session I had been waiting for. I instantly got a pit in my stomach and looked back at Greg with a face red from embarrassment. Goes like this, Greg said. Psst, tss, tss. With the patience of Mother Teresa, Greg watched me attempt the beat again with my clumsy hands. The sound of Phil Collins faded from my mind and was replaced by flashbacks from 6th grade music class and my horrible shrieking on the recorder. There was definitely no jamming, and I was definitely not Animal. With a bright red face, I said, "Dude, it's not like I can't hear how it goes. I just can't do it." I hated the taste of those words coming out of my mouth. Greg smiled at me. "It'll take practice, but you'll get it if you stick with it." In an instant, my dreams came rushing back. I could see myself playing the drums again. I could feel the release of jamming on my kit. In that moment, I realized an important truth. I might be the absolute worst drummer on planet Earth, but I was still a drummer. I took a deep breath. This was definitely going to take some serious work, but I was now a drummer. And what do drummers do? Drummers practice. So practice I did. I religiously took lessons every week and practiced at home for hours on end. One painful note after the next, I practiced until my neighbors went from asking me to stop making noise to asking me to turn down the music. I practiced until I could jam. I practiced because I am a drummer. Be a drummer. It's like sharing James's story, because most people in that situation would have said, "I want to learn how to play drums." This is not an identity shift. When James decided to play drums, he knew that there was going to be a long, hard road to becoming good. And if he just wanted to, quote, play the drums, he probably would never had made it to the finish line. But because he shifted his identity to, "I am a drummer," he looked at it differently. It shifted him. If you're a drummer, you have to figure out what drummers do. They have their own drums, they have their own sticks, they have a coach, and they practice a lot. Because being a drummer was now his identity, and not just something he wanted to do. It became easy in his new identity to do the things a drummer does. When someone comes to me wanting to learn how to make more money or grow their company, it can be hard to get them to do the things that are necessary to have success. When they learn about the identity of a funnel hacker and they put on that mantle, it's no longer difficult because that's what funnel hackers do. Do you now see why creating that shift in someone is so important? Their likelihood of success will go up exponentially after they have that shift. As the leader, it's your role to design what that identity looks like so that they can easily take it on. One of the mistakes many people make is trying to make their company and their movement about themselves. As long as your product or company name is your name, it will be hard for others to identify with that movement. My company's name is ClickFunnels, but our tribe is the funnel hackers. These are the people who believe in our new opportunity, funnels, and they use the ClickFunnels tool. I mentioned this earlier, but when Kaylin Poulin first launched her company, she used her maiden name and called the company Tool Time Trainer. While she had some success selling to people once, it didn't create a movement. After I shared with her and her husband this concept of the tribe and getting people to shift identity with your movement, she realized that their current branding made it very hard for others to identify with. They knew that to get to the next level in their business, they would need to make a change. As they were flying home from the meeting, Kaylin had an idea. She thought, Lady Boss weight loss. That's what it's going to be. Then they will say, I am a lady boss. By the time that they had launched, they had changed their messaging. By the time they had landed, they had changed their messaging. They quickly launched their new movement, and within 3 months, they saw their customer churn drop by 10%, which for them was equal to hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. On top of that, their true fans, the ones who purchase anything and everything they produce, now identify themselves as lady bosses, and their company continues to grow by hundreds of new people each day. The first step in the identity shift is to create a name for your tribe that will make them want to belong. My tribe is the Funnel Hackers. Kaylin's is the Lady Boss. What's your tribe called? Then there's the personal identity, the I am statement. For customers to be able to self-identify with your movement, they need to have an I am statement that quickly describes who they are. An I am statement is very similar to the tribe identity, but it's giving customers the ability to self-identify with the tribe. I am a funnel hacker. My people can say that, and it means something special to them. As you learned in the section above, after Kaylin named her movement, she imagined her tribe saying, I am a lady boss. You can take this to the next level by creating t-shirts with your statements on them. Shortly after launching ClickFunnels, the Funnel Hacker movement, we made some t-shirts that simply had the word #FunnelHacker on front. We sent a free shirt to everyone who opened a ClickFunnels account. After giving away 10,000 shirts, our accounting department asked me if we wanted to order more. They said they weren't able to see any benefit in doing it, as it was costing us almost $10 to print and ship out each shirt. I almost told them to cancel it, until one day I got a message from someone who had joined ClickFunnels, received a t-shirt, and never logged back into his account. He told me that he never canceled his account because he loved the Funnel Hacker t-shirt. He felt like he was part of our tribe and didn't want to lose that part of himself. That was when I realized the power of an identity shift. I told our accounting department that although the shirts were costing us a lot of money, the intangible benefits were worth more. Since then, we have shipped out more than 250,000 #FunnelHacker shirts to almost every country around the world. I've seen pictures from people across the globe wearing our shirt, our brand, and spreading our message. Kaylin is also big on creating Lady Boss swag for her Lady Bosses to wear. She told me that she looks at the t-shirts like capes that give her tribe members superpowers. When they put a Lady Boss shirt on, they become different, like superwomen. It reminds them every day how empowered they are to do what they need to do, where they are in their journey, and to keep moving forward. Each time they put it on, they're proclaiming their new identity and it will help them to do the impossible. To get people to identify with your movement, come up with something simple that you can put on a t-shirt for your members, that your members could wear, that would make them identify with your movement. Think, I'm a something, or I something. So, I'm a funnel hacker. I'm a lady boss. I build funnels. I see things differently. I'm a biohacker. What would your tribe wear proudly on their chests? Create a title of liberty or a manifesto. In the ancient Americas, Captain Moroni led an army into war they couldn't win. Some of his troops lost faith in their mission, and some even left to join the enemy forces. The captain needed to do something quickly and to save his army and his people. In Alma 46:12, the story goes that he took his coat, tore it into a makeshift flag, and wrote on it, "In memory of our God, our religion, and our freedom, and our peace, our wives, and our children." Then he put that flag at the end of a pole and he called it the title of liberty. When people saw it, they rallied around their leader Moroni. And in a scene that I can only imagine was similar to Mel Gibson's famous speech in the movie Braveheart, they renewed their faith in the cause and they went on to win the war. Your tribe needs a title of liberty that they can look to as motivation and a reminder about why they are trying to change. Something they can look at when they're feeling doubtful. A rallying call. Something that will help them know who you are, remind them of who they are, and reinforce on them where you are going together. The first person I saw create a launch manifesto for a tribe was Kaylin for her lady bosses. She wanted to create something that would call out to the people she wanted in her tribe and repel those who were not a good fit. She wanted it to be something that would inspire her dream customers and be a reminder about who they are trying to become. One day she sat down with her husband, Brandon. They pulled out his phone and clicked the record button as she talked about what it meant to be a lady boss. They had the audio transcribed and turned it into this image with her customers print out and hang on their walls and mirrors to remind them of who they are trying to become. And this is the Lady Boss Manifesto. A lady boss is the courageous woman inside all of us who takes responsibility for where she's at. She isn't a victim of her circumstances. She doesn't make excuses or complain about what she can't change. She spends more energy doing something about it instead of telling everybody why she can't. A lady boss can have it all and do it all without having to compromise who she is or her integrity. A lady boss realizes that she shines the most when she's authentic and true to herself. A lady boss isn't about just talk, but getting it done. She recognizes that if she wants results and success, she has to put in the work. A lady boss doesn't aim to please others' expectations, but rather aims to be the best version of herself she can be. A lady boss doesn't listen to all the negative haters around her who are afraid she will succeed. A lady boss focuses on what she wants instead of focusing on why she can't. A lady boss is a no BS, take action, get it done, no compromise woman who values her integrity, confidence, self-worth, and doesn't change who she is for anybody. A lady boss is in control of her destiny, her situation, her health, her body, and in turn, her life. Lady boss is a mentality that you choose to step into. It's your confident alter ego. It means putting aside all your doubts, all your fears, all your excuses, and every reason you think you can't do it. Because you can do it. You're a lady boss now. When I created our funnel hacker manifesto, I thought through a similar process. Who are my funnel hackers? What do we stand for? Who are we trying to become? After thinking through this for a while, I ended up creating this manifesto for our tribe. A funnel hacker is a new breed of entrepreneur, smarter, leaner, faster, and free. A funnel hacker believes that their business is a calling. Their products, services, and the messages they share have the ability to change the lives of people they have been called to serve. A funnel hacker is in control of their destiny. They start without a safety net, venture capital is a 4-letter word, and bootstrap is their middle name. Hashtag funnel hackers. Define their own destiny, create their own luck, build their own empires, change the world. I am a funnel hacker, and I am just one funnel away. After Kaylin launched her manifesto, a short time later I saw her send all her customers a mini version of the manifesto that they could save as a background image on their phone. That way, every time they turned on their phone, they would be reminded of what it means to be a lady boss. I quickly created one for my funnel hackers as well. You can get your own funnel hacker phone background at expertsecrets.com/resources. Creating an identity shift isn't limited to the ideas I shared here. They're just some of the things that we've used that have had the most success. The key is understanding that it's not just the name or the t-shirts or the words on their phones, it's how they feel about the movement and their role inside your community. They become a new person and they are connected to you as their guide. Step 3. Create milestone awards that pull people towards the result or the journey of achievement. Napoleon Bonaparte once said, "A soldier will fight long and hard for a bit of colored ribbon." And I know that as soon as I started wrestling, I found out that the colored ribbon for wrestlers in high school was to be a state champion. As soon as I knew that there was a prize, it was the only thing I wanted. I would cut 20 to 30 pounds every single week to make weight for weigh-ins, and within hours after I was allowed to eat or drink again. I'd gain it all back. I missed meals, parties, and hanging out with friends. I also climbed rope every night, lifted weights, and ran every day on top of doing 2 or 3 hours a day of wrestling practice. I literally gave blood, sweat, and tears, all for the hope that I could someday win that title. By junior year, I won my state title, and immediately I wanted to know the next colored ribbon I could go for. I found out that after the state tournament, there was a national tournament, and if you placed in the top 8, you could be an All-American. That's all I needed to know. I put on my plastics to lose weights, and I started running again. Within 12 months of learning what it would take to be an All-American, I stood second place in the nation and got my colored ribbon. Within minutes of my finals match, I started looking for the next match, the next level, and within a month I had signed to Brigham Young University's wrestling team to start chasing the next ribbon. Often in business, someone will join our movement because they are looking for a result. Unfortunately, for most people, the result itself isn't a strong enough pull to keep them in momentum long enough to achieve it. Other times, the goals they set for themselves aren't very tangible, like, I want to grow my company, or I want to feel more successful. The result that most people are seeking is simply growth, so it can be hard to define a finish line. Because of that, we decided to create milestone awards that people can achieve while they're growing their companies inside of our new opportunity, funnels. The first award we created is called the 2 Comma Club Award, because there are 2 commas in $1 million. And at our third Funnel Hacking Live event, we gave this award to everyone who had made at least $1 million inside a funnel. That first year, we gave away 73 awards on stage, and I watched as the rest of the audience was transformed. They saw people around them break a 4-minute mile that they may have dreamed of, but they didn't believe was possible. That award was the colored ribbon to chase after. Over the next 2 years since we launched that award, we have had hundreds of entrepreneurs each year come on stage and receive that award. It helps to keep them tied to our movement, and it gives them the feeling of progress and accomplishment on their journey to achievement. As soon as we awarded the first group of entrepreneurs their 2 Comma Club awards, they immediately started asking, what's next? What's the next colored ribbon they could chase? We then created the 2 Comma Club X award, signifying they had made more than $10 million inside a funnel. And at the next Funnel Hacking Live, we had 17 people who won that award. Since then, we've created a 2 Comma Club C award. C is the Roman numeral for 100. For those who have made more than $100 million. We also have plans as our students keep growing to give one of the first ever 3 Comma Club awards. You can see the names of the people who have achieved these awards at 2commaclub.com. What is the 4-minute mile for your movement that you could create an award around for your people? Initially, the 4-minute mile will need to be something that you've already accomplished, so you can show them it's possible and give them hope and belief that they can do it too. As you shift your focus to helping others accomplish the same results and breaking their 4-minute mile, you'll notice something strange will happen inside your community. Their focus will be taken off of you, the expert, and shifted outwards towards their tribe. This is important because people usually come into a community for the expert, but they stay for the community. As more of your members break the 4-minute mile, more people will be attracted to your movement, and it will start to grow faster than you ever thought possible. Step number 4, unite with a social mission, or the journey of transformation. When you get to the story selling section of this book in section 2, where we talk about the hero's 2 journeys, you'll learn that in every story there are 2 journeys a hero goes on. You will soon master this story structure as you learn to tell your own stories, but it is also a real journey that you are taking your tribe on within your movement. I'll explain it to you quickly now, but you'll understand it in much more detail soon. The first is the journey of achievement. We just talked about how you, as the expert, help guide your tribe members through that journey to their end goal. The second journey is that every hero unknowingly takes is called the journey of transformation. This transformation is who the hero becomes while on the journey of achievement. If the only thing you do with your tribe is to help them achieve a result, eventually they will leave you. There is no long-term fulfillment in achievement alone. Even if they do achieve the results you promise them, they will then start looking for other places to get their needs met. When we first launched ClickFunnels, we knew that we wanted to weave into the DNA of the company, and also the culture that we were givers. A lot of people say that they'll give when they're successful, but I'd suggest that for most of us, we became successful because we gave. When we launched ClickFunnels, we set it up so that every time a funnel went live, we would donate $1 to a charity I love called Village Impact that builds schools for kids in Kenya. Each year, our Funnel Hacking Live event, we present a check for how many funnels our community has built to my friends Stu and Amy McLaren, founders of the charity. We've also had the chance to take a group of funnel hackers to Kenya to experience how their giving is changing the lives of so many people there. A few months before our 4th Funnel Hacking Live event, I had the chance to meet Tim Ballard, who runs an organization called Operation Underground Railroad that helps save children from sex slavery. I didn't realize it at the time, but it's estimated that there are more than 2 million children right now who are being used for sex and organ harvesting. When we learned about this cause, we knew we needed to help. We decided to help fund the documentary Operation Tucson that we premiered at Funnel Hacking Live. After screening the movie, we were able to raise more than $1 million for the cause, enough to save 400 children. Tony Robbins, who happens to be OUR's biggest donor, was also our keynote speaker that year. After the event was over, I was backstage with him and showed him how much money we had raised. He told me something that changed me. He said, "What I love that you're doing now is you're teaching them to be givers and helping them to see the value in that and getting them hooked on that. To me, that's the most important thing of all." I realized in that moment, while I had always assumed that my mission was to help my tribe achieve something, that was just a distraction from the real goal, which is to help them transform into something more. When we got home from that event, we rallied our community around this cause and created a funnel to help promote the documentary. You can watch it at OURfilm.org. At the time of this writing, the funnel has helped raise more than $2.5 million, and that number is growing every day. When I was in Kenya on our last donor trip, I started thinking a lot about these two charities that mean so much to me. While they are very different, they both have the same spirit. As I contemplated how to weave them deeper into our movement, 2 words came to mind: liberate and educate. As soon as I heard that, I saw how these 2 charities tied together, but also why they meant so much to us as a community. Operation Underground Railroad helps liberate children from slavery, and Village Impact helps educate children by building schools for them. ClickFunnels' mission has also been to liberate entrepreneurs from the technical hurdles that have held them back from having success, and educate them through the books and coaching programs we have created. Liberate and educate. This is what we do for entrepreneurs during their journey of achievement, and during their journey of transformation, we give them opportunities to help the children who can't help themselves. We've also recently created a new award to encourage giving even more, called the 2 Heart Award, for those who donate more than $1 million to charity. I'm excited to see how this new colored ribbon will help move people to give even more. You can learn more about our mission, Liberate and Educate, at liberateandeducate.com. And with that, my friends, that is the conclusion of section 1. So I'm going to close the book on this chapter of Expert Secrets. Remember to get your copy at leadershipmade.com/expert-secrets. And you can get the book absolutely free. All you have to do is cover the cost of shipping. It's absolutely worth it. So meet me back here for our next episode, where we're going to be diving into how to actually apply this stuff in your business, because we're going to be sitting down with a super awesome funnel hacker to see how she includes this kind of stuff in her business and how it changes the lives of not only her customers, but the customers around her. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode. I'm Coach Molly from Three Pines Leadership. This is the Business Building Book Club. Thank you again. Until next time, remember, I love you, and be excellent to each other.